This series just continues to be absolutely amazing. I mean, James Gunn is just a creative force. Like, this show is so insane. I love the first 3 episodes. If you haven't already, definitely check out my review and breakdown for that. I did it all in one video. But now today we're talking about Peacemaker episode 4, which is another amazing episode. I love this show so much, and it almost makes me sad that already we're halfway through the season, because of course there's 8 episodes. This is episode 4, and the episode's titled The Chode Less Traveled. And again, it was a great episode. We have a lot to talk about. I mean, there's so much going on here that it's like just keeping it up with the comedy, the drama, the action. There's so many emotional moments mixed in with the comedy. That's what's so great about James Gunn's style, is because he does some really inappropriate, violent, raunchy things in his content here, but then he balances it out with those deep, dramatic, emotional moments. And I love that. Also, the ending here, I mean, who saw that coming? I know I sure didn't. But anyways, guys, spoiler warning, if you've not yet seen this episode, definitely go be sure to check it out on HBO Max right now. But for now, guys, let's jump into this and break down Peacemaker episode 4. So the team returns from their mission in episode 3, and they return to the headquarters, and Judo Master is still alive, so that's definitely some good news. I was a little concerned he was maybe dead after John just brutally beat him with a crowbar to the face, but he's good, he's alive. But we got some aftermath of that episode and that mission, though, because Myrn is of course mad about Peacemaker not taking the shot and hesitating just because they were kids, and then Harcourt is also kind of frustrated with Adebayo about not being able to kill that guy, even though that guy did not at all deserve it. But she's mad, you need to be willing to take the shot, and as you see later in the episode, she does actually do that. But then Peacemaker and Vigilante go to Peacemaker's dad's house to get some more supplies. And again, I just love the chemistry and the relationship between Peacemaker and Vigilante. It's so funny. It's like they're best friends, but are they not best friends? It's so funny. I love the relationship. So they return to Augie Smith's house. Obviously he's not home because we know he's in prison, but they don't know that yet. So Peacemaker goes in and he grabs a new helmet. Then he ends up just grabbing all the helmets because, why not? And then he looks over and we see the White Dragon armor, which of course, that was the big reveal at the end of episode 2 of Peacemaker, that Augie Smith, once he's put in prison, he was the White Dragon, this crazy white supremacist Nazi type of guy from the comics that is kind of similar to Peacemaker in his ways of killing bad people, but then again also just way more racist. So not great, but I love the way this armor looks. I did not at all expect to see the actual comics accurate armor in this series, especially not seeing actually Robert Patrick wear the armor. If he does, that'd be amazing. But just to see the armor in there is awesome. It looks so cool. I mean, it looks super ridiculous and unpractical, but at the same time it's so comics accurate. I love it. But again, like I said, Augie is currently in prison, so when Peacemaker goes back outside, the old guy neighbor actually reveals that to them, yeah, your father's in prison. So of course Peacemaker's freaking out about that. He calls the squad and, asks why'd you frame him and all this stuff. So Adebayo tries to stop him from going in and seeing him, and he says, your father's not a good man, but Chris, he acknowledges that, and he acknowledges that his father really doesn't care about him, and that he doesn't love him, and he is, super abusive and everything, but he's still family, so he still loves him, so he still goes in there. For some reason, he tells his father about everything, about literally how he was framed, and then you'd think that, he would care at least a little bit, but no, he says, I never loved you. I loved your brother, but I never cared about you, sack of flesh or something like that. And it's wow, this guy really is a terrible guy. So then he actually threatens to rat out Peacemaker and his whole crew with now this information that literally he was framed. So he could get out of prison at any time now. He just has to tell the truth. But Chris tells him, this is a world-saving mission, so you gotta just at least wait until the operation is over. But meanwhile, outside, we have Adebayo talking to Vigilante, which now she sees him without the suit, so, identity revealed. But she basically tells him that Peacemaker will never be happy as long as his dad is around. And that is fully true, because as long as he's around, he's going to be looking for that sense of approval from his father, and he's never going to get that. He just wants to be loved, and there's nothing there to love. But, of course, this actually plants an idea in Vigilante's head, like, oh, wait, my best friend? I just wanted to be happy, so how can I make him happy? By killing his father. So that's exactly what he tries to do in this episode. Obviously, he ultimately fails, but he gets himself thrown in prison on purpose and starts a prison fight, and it's great. It really is great. But meanwhile, Judo Master actually escapes. Somehow he was able to get his hands out of the restraints, even though they were super tight. So he escapes. He almost kills John Economos. And then Peacemaker shows up, fights him, and is about to defeat him when all of a sudden he gets shot by Adebayo. She is finally willing to take the shot, and she does. And again, leaves me with the same question at the end of last episode. Is he dead or is he not? Because they tie him back up again, and they say, like, he's probably going to die, so I'm hoping he's not dead yet, but maybe he will be. I'm hoping he stays alive, because, I mean, Judo Master's a cool character, and he hasn't really done much yet, but still cool to see that Adebayo actually took that leap and actually did it. So she's definitely adapting to this new environment with these new people and with this crew and kind of becoming more like them. Although it's actually revealed that Adebayo actually purposefully set up Vigilante to go into prison and kill Augie, but obviously Myrn wants him to not do that because they already have enough trust issues with Peacemaker that they got him thrown in prison in the first place, literally manipulating his best friend to make him go kill his father. That's even worse. So he wants Vigilante out of there. So after Vigilante starts the prison fight, he actually gets released and Hardcore picks him up, and that's at the end when, like, everybody starts crying. But before that, we get another little reveal. Like, for example, Chris, that butterfly that was released from Goff at the end of episode 3, apparently Peacemaker caught that and now is keeping it in a jar. So he literally has that butterfly in a jar. Chances are it's probably going to get loose. I'm interested to see how that goes. But then we get to the really emotional stuff here at the end, because at the end of the episode, literally everybody's crying, even Myrn, and we get the reveal as to why that's happening, kinda. But first, Peacemaker meets Hardcore at the bar again. Of course, you got some more flirtation there, and he asks what's on his file, because, you know, Adebayo was teasing something about that earlier. So he just asks her, what is on my file? And she basically tells him that father abusive and all that stuff, but also his brother died under mysterious circumstances. And then at the end of the episode, when everybody's crying, you have Peacemaker in his trailer. He's listening to the music, and you can just see the sadness in him. You get more flashbacks to him killing Rick Flag, but also you get flashbacks to his brother's death. Like, first you get a flashback to young Chris killing some random person under the order of his father. His father is literally laughing as he murders this guy. And then you see his brother, who it seems like he was like his only friend, and they were like super close and like great brothers, best friends and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden you see that he like falls on the ground, and at first it seems like he's having a seizure, but then like he starts foaming at the mouth. It's like white foam. I don't know what this is, like how he's dying, if it's like if it's related to Augie, if he like actually, but I mean, he did say that he actually loved that son and not Chris, so I don't really know exactly what's going on here, how he died. But clearly the loss of his brother is another huge thing that kind of sent Chris spiraling down this dark path. Which already I thought was a great ending to the episode, but then we, of course, have to end off on this big, huge cliffhanger where we have Myrn. Again, it seems like he's watching like a sad movie or something, even though in last week's episode he said like, oh, I don't feel things. Well, this time it seems like he's crying, or at least his eyes are getting a little watery. And then all of a sudden he grabs a bowl of nectar. The butterfly tongue comes out, and boom, we get the reveal. Clemson Myrn is a butterfly. And I both expected it and didn't expect it at the same time, because in last week's episode, when he was going on about not feeling stuff, and especially considering like when he blew open the door to the basement, and like, you know, he like explosion right in front of his face, and he was like fine after that, I had a feeling like, oh, there's gonna be some sort of emotional arc with this guy. He's gonna go through a journey. I bet he's going to end up being a butterfly and like sacrifice himself or something like that. So I expected him to be a butterfly at some point in the series, but I didn't expect it to be not only revealed so early, but also just that he already is a butterfly. Because then how does this even make sense? If he is a butterfly, then why is he trying to help the government and these other characters destroy and kill the butterflies. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense. But then again, it goes back to what Judo Master was saying at the beginning of the episode, because of course we know he was working with the butterflies in episode 3, and as like right before Adebayo shot him, he said the butterflies, they're not what you think, they're, and then she shot him. So we don't know what he was going to say, but maybe the butterflies aren't actually as evil as we think they are. Maybe that's just the way it's being made out to be. Because, hey, again, this is, of course, a spin-off from the Suicide Squad, where you had a very similar thing with Starro in there. And Starro was kind of, he was still a bad guy because he was still, like, murdering people and doing stuff like that and killing people. But, like, he was also kind of innocent because he didn't, like, it wasn't his choice to come here to Earth. Like, he was living a good life up in the stars. So it could be something similar here, where the butterflies aren't exactly what we think they are, and maybe they're not all that bad. But we'll have to see. Guys, that was Peacemaker episode 4. Again, I absolutely loved it. There were so many great moments. I loved the reveal, loved the chemistry, loved the relationships between these characters. But for now, guys, can't wait for episode 5 next week. But for now, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about Peacemaker episode 4? And thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the DC life.